Hello, everybody. This is Teacher Oscar, and this time and this week we're going to talk about the TOEIC test. Okay, let's start right away. Well, probably you have heard this before, but I have this question for you. What does TOEIC stand for? TOEIC stands for Test of English for International Communication. So basically, it's a test related to measuring your communication skills. I have some other questions for you. Do you only need to know English for taking the TOEIC test, or do you need some other skills? Well, the thing is that you do not only need to know English, you need to know other skills, and those are test taking skills, okay? Which is not the same as your English skills. Let's focus more now on your test taking skills. For taking the TOEIC test, you need to have very good time management, also working or you have to know how to work under pressure. You need concentration and attention. That's part of your skills for taking the TOEIC test. And also staying still for a 2-hour period. The other skills we were talking about, well, these ones. The English skills, which are basically your reading skills, your grammar skills, your listening skills, and your comprehension skills. Your comprehension skills about the language. And others. All right, there are some things that you have to know about TOEIC, and they are, first of all, the TOEIC test is a proficiency test. Talking about the proficiency test, that means that the test measures something. Okay, it measures your performance when doing something. It is a standardized test. That means that it's the same test all over the world. And what I mean is that the same test, what I mean by the same test is that it has the same format all over the world. Well, now you know that it's used in many countries and in more than 10,000 companies. And it's like basically the same test with the same format. It's owned by ETS. ETS stands for Educational Testing Services, and that's the largest and most well-known educational management organization in the US. Also, it's for non-native English speakers. So if you are an English native speaker, well, you shouldn't or you're not supposed to take the TOEIC test because we already know that you know how to communicate very efficiently in English. It has two big sections, you know them. They are the listening and reading sections, and it has 8 different parts. 4 parts in listening, 4 parts in reading. It has 200 questions, and those 200 questions have to be answered in a period of 2 hours, which means that in zero point 0.6 minutes you have to answer each one of the questions. So you don't even have 1 minute for answering the questions. It has a validity of 2 years. Yes, every 2 years the test expires. Us, your teachers, academic English, conversational English, and us technical English teachers, we have to take the TOEIC test every 2 years because our job depends on that. TOEIC MEP, that is the TOEIC that we have to take. Basically, it's the listening and reading part, but it has an extra section which is the TOEIC speaking section, and also we have TOEIC writing. Usually, speaking and writing come together. In the case of a TOEIC MEP test, well, it doesn't have the TOEIC writing part. The fees are set by test centers, so people are expected to pay around from 80 to 97 US dollars for each component. It means that the listening and reading test, they have one fee, and the speaking and writing part, they have another fee. In your case, if I'm not wrong, this year you're supposed to pay 45,000 colones, which is approximately $77. So that is cheaper than paying regularly in a test center. TOEIC Bridge is a shorter version of the TOEIC test, but it only has 100 questions, and the top proficiency range or level is B2. Yeah. All right. The scores. You have probably heard me talking about this before, but let's refresh this. The Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, well, they are the ones who give the basis for creating the proficiency tests for the TOEIC test. I'm not planning to read everything that is in there. The important thing for this is that the TOEIC test measures A1, A2, B1, B2, and just C1, okay? The C2 is not part of the TOEIC test. Moving on, well, this is a sample conversion table. Pay attention to this because it's kind of difficult to understand. It's a little bit tricky. Each part, the listening and the reading part, they have 100 questions. Okay, 100 questions. Now, let's suppose that in the listening part, you score the 100 questions. It means that you get a 495 in listening. But what about if you get 93 questions right? Well, you still get the 495. Different from the reading part, because if in the reading part you get the 100 questions right, it means, well, you get the 495 as your score. If you get a 99, or if you get 99 questions right, you get a 490 in reading and 495 in listening, and so on and so forth. So depending on the number of correct questions, you get different grades in the listening compared to the reading part. Each TOEIC test has a conversion table like this, and it's different, and it's never revealed. It's never revealed, so that's part of the business of the TOEIC test. The scores, well, we studied that last week. The A1 is the lowest score, and then we have A2. So there is a description there. If you want to read it, you may pause the video right away. B1, B2, and C1. Remember, we don't have C2 in the TOEIC test. It has two big sections, listening and reading. Okay, these are the parts. Photographs in that's the first part. Question response, second part. Conversations, third part. Talks, fourth part. And that's the listening part. You are expected to answer in about 45 minutes. In the reading part, we have in the reading section, we have the incomplete sentence part, which is number 5, text completion, number 6, single passages, number 7, and multiple passages, the last part, which is number 8, and you're expected to answer in a period of 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, right now I want you to go to take the quiz for this part of the practice of this week.